So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved of the November 2nd, 2024 regular commission meeting, unanimous. Let's turn it over. I'll turn it over to Ed and his people.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have our reports to present for you. We've, as our custom has been the last few meetings, put them in an order where we go through the mechanical superintendent's report, the marketing, the financial, and then I'll summarize at the end. So with that introduction, Marvin, would you give your report for the superintendent, please?
Before we get started, can I just interrupt briefly because we've had representatives from Senator Hickenlooper and Senator Bennet's office join us. Welcome. Patrick and Erin, we're glad to have you here. Thank you.
Yes, thanks a lot for joining us.
Okay, sorry, Marvin, you're up. But you need to unmute yourself, Marvin.
Okay. We've been kind of busy in here on the east side of the mountain here at the Antonito shop. We started the year with mostly half crews because with the flu virus that was going around, there was days we only had 2 or 3 guys in the shop. But seems like that's gone away, and we've gotten back into in a sequence of getting stuff completed. Our passenger coaches they've all gone through annual inspections, and they're all ready to go. So those are set for the season. We are doing some interior work on the premium cars, just fixing up scratches, and touching up some of the window railings, stuff that's that'll make it a little bit easier for our passengers to use. We've been working on building a new coach. We're starting to get close to the finishing touches on it. We're hoping to on Monday to get some seats in there and be able to start getting some of the metal siding on the sides on it. See how much of that we can continue on. Hopefully that'll be a little bit of a fast project, fast pace on those cars as we go. But all in all, I think that I don't see why that car won't be ready to roll out by the beginning of the season. That'll be one more car we'll have. We took locomotive 19 up to Osier last week, trying to see what's out there. But it looks like, unfortunately, one of the things that when we went out there we weren't very happy about was how dry it was. I mean, we really didn't encounter any snow from basically Antonito to all the way to Toltec. Or the little bit of snow that was there was from Toltec to Osier, but nothing to really hold anything back. We turned back at Osier mostly because it was starting to get late on us, but we could have still kept on going. Not much snow. We did get some snow this week. We were up there again on Wednesday, and we took people from Market Forestry who's going to come in and do some tree trimming and brush trimming along the right of way, and they wanted to see exactly what they were getting into. So all that worked out well, but we only got as far as Toltec on that day because the night before we got some snow, and it was a little bit too much for 19 to be going across. I didn't want to take a chance on it, but we got that company coming in. then they want to start doing some of the tree trimming right around the middle of March. And hopefully that they're trying to see if they can get done with that project by June 1st, by the time we start running trains. If not, they will work. They will be working in between trains, and we'll see if we can get it done. We're looking at the project will be done by the 1st of July, completed. So that's where we're working on that. Other than that, we've been trying to build up a little bit of our fire suppression equipment and material handling equipment around here. So that's one of the things that we have been working on also, because we did acquire a telehandler, and we do have a couple of motor cars that'll be joining the fleet, and that'll be in operable condition this summer. Not other than that, all we can say is let's hope we keep getting some more moisture, because it doesn't look good up there. I mean it's dry, but we have to take precautions and get some of this equipment ready, because that way we do have a backup on being able to control our fire situation. So got that. Locomotive wise, 488. We should get the arch tubes installed this coming week, and that one's pretty much done for the annual. 487, the cylinders were bored, and Stephen has taken the sleeve material back to his shop. He's going to machine it in his shop, and he'll bring it back. And he told me last night was he should be back in 2 weeks to see if we can get the sleeves installed in there, and hopefully the 487 will come together fairly quick after that. The annual inspection on the 87, other than the cylinders, is pretty much all but complete also. On the Chama side, we haven't done much with 463. 484, we're working on bushings, on side rod pins. So that the shop crew that's there is busy working on that stuff. 489's got the number ones and number threes out, and we got to go in, get some true measurements on the axles and true measurements on the tires, and we're looking at machining the tires on the 89, and that thing should be but we should be able to go back into service with that. But we got to just take a little closer look on that. We got 315s locked up in the Chama shop, and 168s locked up in the Antonito historic facility. And both of those engines, we still have to go through annuals on them. But other than that, I mean, all we can do, we just got to stay busy and see how much catch-up work we can get done, and see if we can get back online and get where we got to be. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Marvin? To summarize, basically with the conditions of lack of snow, the huge emphasis will be on the 2 oil burning locomotives to have them ready to begin the season. But work is progressing well on the others, except for the 463, which will be the last priority as we finish the winter work. Car work is ongoing as well. So thank you, Marvin.
Ed, I'd just like to congratulate them. I toured the 526, the new passenger car, about 10 days ago. It looks really, really good. Huge amount of work's gone into getting that car ready to go. So Marvin, congratulations to you and the crew.
Absolutely. And just a comment on the mitigation, the timing is really critical here, and it's great that it's scheduled to be done as quickly as it is. And thanks to the state of Colorado for that extra funding. I think in a really dry year like this, it shows how important that funding will be to us.
Very much the case. The coach also enabled us to have 2 symmetrical primary train sets, so that'll help us operationally. So it's a big step forward. Okay, any other questions or comments for mechanical superintendent?
Yeah, Marvin, can you give us an update on the new diesel?
On the 114, we have when that locomotive first came, we knew it had a computer problem, and that was going to get solved, and that's getting worked on. They have to do some rewiring into a computer box. Right now, it's getting worked on, and I have not received any word how far ahead they are in. They said they would touch base back with us here at the end of the month. One of the things that Brad did comment before he left was that he had a target date of trying to have that locomotive ready by the 1st of April, and I'm hoping that does happen, because that's really when we would really make use of it. But I would not see much of anything happening, here within the next 2-3 weeks on the 114. It does help us on the fact that gives us the shop space here in Antonito to try to finish the primary work on the 487 and the 488. Because when they do come in, and they take one whole stall in on the engine shop, and it's still a little. When it gets a little cold, stuff like that, we really don't want to put the steam engines out there and face something else. But I would say that by the 1st of April, I think we'll be okay on the 114.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Marvin. The next report is listed as marketing, but it's really the overall customer experience. And Abby leads that whole entire effort, so she'll be more comprehensive in her discussion here, just beyond the marketing effort itself. So with that, I'll turn it over to Abby.
All right. So for going into the 2025 season, our operation dates are May the 31st through October the 25th. We will be operating 6 days a week as we have the last couple of seasons. So every day except for Mondays. Monday, there will be no trains operating. We have introduced a new premium class car seating, is what we've named it. It is very, very similar to our parlor car. It'll live on one of the train consists, so it'll go over from Chama to Antonito one day and then back the next. We decided to add this permanently just because our private car settings, especially our parlor car, is the most popular class of service. So adding this has allowed us to get a little bit more people to experience our private car setting. Overall, we did open up our reservation system on January the 6th. Year over year, we are up 21%. Group sales is strong going into the season once again. It is a little bit down in comparison to where we were last year with groups at this time. What that means right now, it is still a little bit early for us to tell. So we will see how that turns out. Groups were a leading factor last season. The good news is it is still early, so we can still grow groups going into the season. So that pretty much sums up the operation schedule and reservation side. So I'll go into a little bit of marketing and what the plan is going into the season. Our target markets will remain basically the same geographically, with emphasis on New Mexico, Colorado, and Texas. We are going to spend a little bit extra attention on Pagosa Springs, Santa Fe, and Alamosa this season. So we're going to target a lot of those markets more digitally, put a geofence on that, see if that can get ridership, not knowing what the economy is going to do, kind of getting a little bit closer to us. We hope will in turn allow us to grow our ridership for the season. There is a little bit more new tactics that we have added in Santa Fe. We added some with the Rail Runner commuter train. It looks like more people, that's our target market. So we're going to try some advertising with them as well. And then we've added more of in Albuquerque and Colorado Springs to do more of to target our senior advertising. It seems like, that is our target market. So we need to exploit that as much as possible going into the season. As far as, social media in our off season, we are, just in order to keep our target market engaged, we are doing a photographer takeover. So you all probably have seen that if you don't follow us on social media. We did that a couple weeks ago. So we'll be doing that every other week. So if you haven't looked at that, that is something exciting, kind of grasping our fans and different points of views of what they see and what makes Cumbres and Toltec important. We are also in the marketing side of things. We did launch a new look to our website this week as well. So website design projects are a huge undertaking. So I'm glad that that was needed in order to make our trips a little bit more clear as well. So if you haven't looked at that, that's on that. You can now go to our website at CumbresToltec.com and take a look at the new design. I am also in design mode for the brochure. Brochures hopefully we will receive them in-house about mid to late March, and then brochure distribution will also start for the season. Some other new exciting things going into the season is our K36 100th anniversary celebration. We don't know exactly what we're doing, but we will, all of that will come out in the next few weeks. But the dates, we do have set dates in August for this celebration. So it will be August the 12th through the 17th. So just, look at our social media, follow us, website. As we get more information, all of that will roll out as well. So that is in conjunction with DAC Dillon Photography, just to honor the K36s turning 100 years old this season. So with that said, Ed, do you have any other comments you would like to add?
No, I think you've summed it up pretty well. It's early in the season. It's nice to say we've opened up reservations and we're ahead. But, in all candor, the sample size is so small that it doesn't really tell us much. And historically, we don't get a lot of correlation from the early ticket sales anyway. We'll get greater visibility probably somewhere in the April timeframe as to how things are shaping up, and be in a better position to predict where our ridership is going to be. But it's still nice to open the ticket sales with some robust activity, even if it's small. Any questions or comments for Abby about the passenger service aspects?
Just a couple comments, and that's the website is really, really good. So congratulations on that side of things. It looked great before. This time it looks great and functions equally well. So congratulations there. I think the fact that the individual rider reservations are up, even though it's early, is a good sign. Last year, I think everybody knows we had a really good year in growth I don't remember if it was 16% or 18%, but it was very strong. So congratulations to the entire team, marketing for last year, and happy to see that it's going to continue this year.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Any other comments? If not, thank you, Abby. We'll move on to the third leg of our three-legged stool, and that's the financial side of it, which is the all-important piece that often goes unseen, but is a critical part of maintaining the organization and keeping us going. So with that, I'll turn it over to Alicia. If you would lead that discussion, please.
Good morning, everyone. So right now, we are focusing primarily our expenditures on capital projects, as well as the ARPA projects that we have committed to the state of New Mexico. So I'm just going to go in and give an update on the different funds within the company. So within HPA, so again, our HPA is pretty quiet around this time of year. We do see the insurance expenses for the management liability policy that is shared with the CTO company and an HPA. So we do see that on the P&L. Within commission, we have received the general fund support from Colorado and New Mexico. So that is reflected on the income statement for the commission P&L. And our expenses for the commission have decreased from prior year. So we're making sure that we are staying within budget that we have submitted for the commission. So in CTO, in reviewing the P&L statement, we do see an increase in our income of about 1.3% overall from prior year. So our operational revenue did increase from prior year, and our total expenses have decreased about 10% from last year, and a total decrease about 41%. So that decrease that we see ending at January 31, that reflects our year-to-date totals. So we do see a decrease in our expenses. Our payroll expenses, supplies and services, G&A, and utilities and insurance, they've all decreased from prior year. So the balance sheet for the CTO company reflects an increase in our bank accounts. So we do see an increase in our ticket revenue account, and that just shows that we are upstream in our deferred revenue. So our total current assets have decreased about 36%, and the major decrease, we are just working on the balance sheet items and doing the intercompany transfers. So we do see that reflecting on the balance sheet. So our advanced ticket sales for deferred revenue, we have about a 0.38% increase from prior year. Within the capital company, we do see that we're working on the drawdowns. So everything was committed as of December 31st. So right now we are just working on the projects and spending down the funds. The projects in the locomotive shops and car shops, we are being reimbursed from Colorado. And right now, the majority, we do see some big expenses coming through for the fire mitigation. And that will be submitted to the state for reimbursement as well. That's pretty much it for the finance department. Is there any questions? Commissioners, is there anything else you would like me to cover? Any questions?
I don't think so. Thank you very much.
I don't hear anything further for Alicia. I guess it should, we're a very modestly sized organization, but I think you can get a sense of how complicated we are compared to a normal sized business like ours. So there's a lot of balls to be kept in the air. So the financial piece of it is a very important part of it, and it's much more complex than it might appear at the surface.
Mr.
Yes.
Chair,
And Alicia and team do a great job of keeping track of all those different components.
yeah, it's an underappreciated area, but it has to be done, and we're glad we're able to keep up with it.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, Erin has her hand up. I'm this Zoom stuff I'm getting used to, but
Yeah, no.
Erin, we're a very casual organization, so don't hesitate to just jump in if you need to.
Well, I did meetings with some of you guys for over 10 years in the Conejos, Guadalupe, in the Conejos Parish Hall. So it's good to see some familiar faces here, Tim, Billy, others. I think we are here. Kim's been good to keep us looped into the information about your commission meetings, mostly because we understand and want to just be sure we're tracking any funding that the commission and that the operations are receiving ongoing through the federal side. So I guess I was just curious, in the ARPA funds you referred to, Alicia, is that what I understand is rescue plan funds still?
So it was, we did receive, this came out of New Mexico.
Uh-huh.
So it was the 3 million for the ARPA funds that we were awarded in 2021. That's where it did come from.
Okay. But state of Colorado, you haven't gotten anything comparable besides general fund?
Just general fund, yeah.
Okay. Then I'd say Commissioner Gibbs and Graybill, you're always welcome to just reach out to us directly on behalf of the Colorado side. If you had, I think ongoing, we're always available to talk on the federal side, but we're just here to listen and learn this morning.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here, and thank you so very much.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm fairly new. I started beginning of September with Senator Hickenlooper's office. I'm covering 6 counties in the San Luis Valley and Chaffee County. Born and raised in Alamosa. My grandfather worked on the Denver Rio Grande for 45 years, so it's really cool to kind of get chimed into this work because it's pretty awesome. I've also ridden the train. I think I was like 3 years old when I first rode this train, so definitely want to keep an open ear and yeah, help however we can as we navigate a lot of uncertainty right now. So thank you for everything you're doing for the railroad.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice to have some more railroad heritage represented here. Since you do have that tie, we're always looking for additional help too, so yeah, let us know.
I'll help spread the word. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I previously worked for San Luis Valley Great Outdoors. It's a local nonprofit. So yeah, definitely have some good connections, but would love to stay in touch and help however I can.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for helping us here. I think that is about what we've got from the financial side, and then I'll use my time here to essentially summarize. I think the other presentations have given you a pretty good look at where we sit in general operationally. The one thing that we haven't touched on this morning is the legislative activity, and both legislatures are in session at this time. We have requests in front of both of them. And in New Mexico, we have a capital request, our base request of 1.275 million. We also have an additional request, special request, essentially for over $800,000 to rehabilitate the culvert system, drainage system at Long Creek at milepost 321. It's a system that was put in the 30s, and it's well beyond its original design life. And one of the 2 major culverts that's located there is in the process of failing. So we're hoping to get the additional appropriation to remedy that situation. Our general fund support for the commission, again, we requested an inflationary increase this year. Both the governor's office and the legislative folks have concurred that it's appropriate, and we're hoping that moves forward unimpeded as we go into the end of the legislative session. It's a 60-day session in New Mexico this year, so it's a little longer. So it'll take us a little longer to see how well we actually finish up. In Colorado, it's a little more difficult. Colorado's got more funding challenges than New Mexico has at the moment. We made our initial request through the governor's office last summer. Essentially, the governor's office approved, or essentially submitted, a budget for us. It's a combined capital and commission support of a little over $1.3 million. That's essentially a flat recommendation from what we've been receiving the previous 3 years. It's now going through the legislative process. Several of us have spent some time working with the appropriate decision makers up in Denver. We're obviously optimistic that we've made a good impression, and I think we were able to demonstrate how important the railroad is to southern Colorado and actually northern New Mexico as well. So we're hopeful that this will continue to move through. The Colorado process is obviously longer than New Mexico, so we won't know for certain how we're doing until a little bit later than that. But at this point, we're keeping our fingers crossed in hopes that everything goes the way it seems to be going at this point. That's essentially the quick summary of where we are in government affairs. If anybody has any questions or comments on that, I'd be happy to entertain them now.
So I just a comment, as our lobbyist sent out an email yesterday, the budget in Colorado is looking even more complicated. So we certainly have to keep our fingers crossed and stay diligent on that side of things to make sure that they understand what a worthy project Cumbres Toltec is, especially for our rural economy.
Can I just ask if you've had luck with, I imagine Rep Martinez is who you're working with out of Monte Vista, and Senator Simpson, but knowing it's always a challenging story to tell on the Colorado side that I remember learning over the years from many of you. Have you had much luck with county support or any other, or the heritage area or other folks echoing the value of the train more recently?
So we had fantastic support out of the former mayor from Antonito, and he actually joined us during our hearing in front of the Joint Budget Committee.
Erin
yeah,
Abeda.
Yeah, Erin did a fantastic job. And Senator Simpson and Representative Martinez both have been strongly supportive. And one of the things that Representative Martinez recognized is we're setting up a repair location in Monte Vista to do the overhaul work on one of the large steam engines. So as soon as that gets established and set up, we'll bring Representative Martinez over and show him how that is progressing. He was very supportive of that. We could always use more support. So
yes,
if we want to talk a little bit more, that would be useful.
No, I've as Billy knows and Tim knows, I've tried to support your train off and on since 2005. And there seems to be a cycle of constant re-education and re-education and re-education about how you're structured and why and how complicated it is. And I'm still here. And Patrick obviously is committed, and we're just excited to stay informed as best as we can. So we could do a follow-up.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Erin.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate that. Local support has been wonderful, which we're not surprised, but being as small as we are and as rural as we are, it's easy to get lost in the more densely populated portions of this urban part of the state. So it's a constant struggle to do that. So we appreciate your help on that too. I think that completes our CTO presentations as to where we stand today and where we're going. Barring any further questions, we'll turn the discussion back to the chair. Billy?
Any more questions? Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
John had a question whether the new car is premium or coach.
It's going to be a coach.
Local affairs, Kim.
You're on mute.
I'm the mute police, and I did it to myself. Don't really have a whole lot to report at the local level. We had I think a very successful season this past season, and lots of happy constituents. we've had a lot of growth in the downtown trauma area. I'm anxious for these places to get opened up. A lot of remodel and a couple of the couple of the hotels and several restaurants. So I'm really optimistic that these things are going to open up, and downtown trauma will be thriving again. As always, Antonito is so self-sufficient that I don't worry much about them, but their downtown area is beautiful as well. And so that's, it's always important because that's the first thing people see when they come into town to ride the trains are these downtown areas. So I'm just very, very encouraged by the growth that's happening. And at this point, I think no news is good news. And I think that's where we're at as far as local affairs are concerned.
Yeah, and I agree. It's been pretty quiet. The questions will start pretty soon, I'm sure, but right now it's pretty quiet. Questions for Tim?
I'm very happy to hear about some of the new businesses opening or renovating in Chama, because it's always the chicken and the egg situation. We rely on Chama to grow in order for us to grow, and they rely on us to grow for them to grow. So that's very good news in my mind.
Capital project.
This is John Bush. I have a comment and a question regarding local affairs stuff. As you all may know, I do a restaurant list every year to help people find places to dine in Chama. Foster's has now gone out of the restaurant business. They will continue to be open as a bar, but not as a restaurant. So the dining situation in Chama looks to be under somewhat more stress. It's not clear what's going to go on at this point with Outlaw Barbecue. And my question is, does the railroad have any target numbers for season ridership, not counting the Christmas trains? Do you have any? I realize it's early in the season, and I completely understand you'll obviously do the best you can, but it would be nice to know if there are any target numbers you hope to hit or expect to hit.
First of all, before anybody answers that question, I just heard from Becky this morning. They're planning on opening March 19th. So you can cross that off your list of things to worry about. So if anybody wants to answer the target question, I will yield the floor.
In terms of what our target numbers are, John, we experienced more growth actually than we anticipated last year. We grew around 14% during the regular season in ridership. We don't expect that kind of growth this year. That's a big leap. But I think in general, we'd be happy if we get some growth in the order of maybe 7%. And you can do the math any way you want to do that. We're also actually going to put more emphasis on the holiday trains as another means of increasing overall participation in the area. So with that, it's obviously a difficult thing to project, but we're looking to move in that general direction to where, even though there may be some questions around the economy in general, we still feel that we're capable of growing in that 7% range.
Thank you very much for that. Kim, also thank you for the update on the subject of Foster's. That's actually pretty good news.
Outlaw.
So thank you.
Outlaw, not Foster's. Outlaw.
Oh, Outlaw. I'm sorry. When you said Becky, I thought you meant.
Oh, no.
Yep.
No, Foster's.
Okay.
I have no indication of what's going to happen with Foster's, but Outlaw Barbecue is opening. She plans to open March 19th.
Oh, good. Well, that's encouraging. All right. Thank you very much for the answers. I appreciate it.
On to capital.
So I think Marvin covered things on the locomotive front quite well. One thing that has gotten accomplished, a lot of people probably didn't see it, was the restoration of the lava water tank. It looks great. And as I understand, the current operating mode is to get that, yes, and get that so that tank cars can be operated out of Antonito or potentially off of one of the other water sources on the railroad and fill that tank. It has a 12,000 gallon liner in it, so 2 tank car loads will fill it. That gives the railroad some more flexibility in being able to water locomotives, particularly with the challenges that are happening at Sublette with the water supply there. So otherwise, I think Marvin's summary was a really good one on the status of locomotives and cars. The Long Creek culvert issue is a significant one. And hopefully the New Mexico legislature will help us with that one.
Thank you, Erin, for being such a strong supporter.
Any questions for Scott? Tracks across borders.
Yes, let me give a quick update and then I'll move to John Porco to give more stuff. I'm pleased to report that we have an informational sign that has been erected at the Watchable Wildlife area. That's over near Arbalest, where the new bridge was put in. And we have another informational sign ready to go that we put in the spring at Juanita. Both of those are in Colorado, and the signs have been underwritten by CDOT, is my understanding. So we're looking for support to get signs, informational signs up. In New Mexico, particularly, we would like to see a replacement of the Continental Divide sign between here and the fork to Belsey or Pagosa, as that sign is now completely illegible. The other thing we're working on still is the stock car issue at Belsey. One of the 2 stock cars, the one that was in poorer condition, is in even poorer condition now and has finally collapsed. So we're still looking at options to try to figure out how to replace those 2 cars. We're still trying to work with the friends regarding the 2 cars that came back from Oklahoma, and we are working with the Hickory Nation on trying to arrange some funding sources. And I'll be happy to answer questions on that subject, and if there are any, go ahead, and if not, I'll turn it over to John Porco to talk about our sponsorship program. John, you're muted.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't realize I was unmuted. Yeah, thank you. Building a little bit on what John said, we have developed, going back to the stock cars for a moment, we have developed a very good relationship with the new president of the nation, Adrian Nutzina, who has been an advocate for doing something with the stock cars for years. He's been on the council for years, so he's very anxious to see things done, and he's given some indication that there might be some tribal funding available, which would, of course, help the project immensely. On other TAB-related matters, it's been a very active year with TAB. We are about ready to launch a sponsorship program. We had, some of you may recall, I think we reported before that we had a grant from the Colorado Tourism Office, a consulting grant, and the the consultant helped us kind of frame a sponsorship program, which we've now taken to, I think, close to the implementation phase with 3 sponsorship levels, and we'll take that out to businesses, organizations, in hopes of getting some funding that we can do more things like interpretive signs and other improvements along the byway. The other thing that I'll mention is we're almost at the printing stage of a brand new trifold brochure that will replace our little rack card. It will be a much better, almost a travel guide to the byway with a brand new map that was created for us. Actually, again, thanks to the courtesy of CDOT. So again, been a very active year. We've got some train shows coming up that we're going to participate in. So I hope that by this time in the spring, we'll have even more to report. Questions?
This is John Bush again. I would like to make a comment. We would like to thank the Friends for the help that they are giving us with the application, the drive-by guide, downloadable drive-by self-directed guide for the byway. Also like to thank the C&Ts for underwriting the cost of that being up so that people can download it, and thank the Durango and Silverton for the significant contribution they have made in terms of printing costs and that sort of stuff. So thanks to all of you for the help you're doing with promoting the byway. And of course, the underlying goal of the byway is to increase visitorship along the old route, and particularly visitorship to the Cumbres and Toltec, as far as we're concerned. We are looking to try to extend the byway from Chama up to the state line, where it will then join Caminos de Antiguos. So thanks for all the support there, and we'll keep you posted. And thanks for the opportunity to address you.
Great. Thank you, John. John, we appreciate your efforts.
Yep, thanks a lot. Tim, your turn.
You're on mute.
Okay.
Okay,
There
I
we
am
go.
muted on my end, so I think they can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me? All right, good morning. Oh, thank you, Mark. Okay. Good morning from Albuquerque. Of course, I thought you probably thought you'd get rid of me in November, but I'm still here, passing the reins over to Rick Martin, who will be taking over as executive director of the Friend. So we're glad to be here this morning, and I guess not have to battle the snow that you're all getting up in Chama. But you should have received the report yesterday, and we can go through it here a little bit. But our spring board meeting and banquet is around the corner here in Albuquerque at the Holiday Inn and Suites, March 14th. So that's the banquet. I think I sent an invite to all the commissioners. Should have that. So I know Scott's coming down. So appreciate seeing everybody. One of the items we found we overturned here in the last couple of weeks is we initially had our Moonlight and Wine Train scheduled for August 9th, and then we figured out, I guess, that that's Chama days. So the availability of motel rooms would not be there. So we worked with Ed, and thank you, Ed, that we'll run it on August 2nd out of Chama. And I've been in touch with Victoria So she'll start working on a menu. So thanks for making that work for us. We appreciate that. Train shows coming up. We have a number of them, both here in the spring and then later on throughout the year. So, hey, Abby, we'll buy a case of brochures if you don't mind, if you want to put us down, like we always do, because we like to distribute those at train shows, and then Gwen typically will put one in each renewal we send out to our members. So it's good to have those. So we appreciate that. Another item down the list here, Ed, thank you for plugging us in on that after the season charter, which will take place October 26th and 27th. That's a Sunday and Monday. So we'll continue to work on logistics, and whenever you can get us a price here, hopefully in the next week, we that and the Moonlight Train, we'd appreciate that. So that'll help us get along marketing with those two events. You see our work session dates, and we did have a good HPCC meeting yesterday, so we went over a lot of material there. So you have those work session dates for the year, and then as always, there's a few pictures of the Express Bay 163 project up at Colorado Springs, which can show you some of the progress the crews continue to work on that project. So there you go. So short and sweet. If you have any questions, feel free. Like I say, I'll be around at least another month, transitioning with Rick here through the process. And thanks for everything over the last 20 years. Appreciate all the support and everything we've gotten accomplished. So there you go.
Thank you, Tim, and welcome, Rick.
Thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you all. I may ask some dumb questions from time to time from your perspective, but it's because I'm learning. If I didn't know the answer, it's better to ask than to assume and make a wrong assumption. So just bear with me, but I'm pleased and honored to be here. Thank you very much.
Tim, I would like to thank you very much for all of the stuff you've done for the Friends over the years. You've been a big help to the Friends and a big help to the railroad.
Absolutely.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that very much.
Yep. You've been amazing, Tim. It's been
Thanks a lot, Tim.
Yeah, Tim, thank you very much.
20 years have gone by awful quickly, as I think as we advance in our years. When you look back, it always seems to you wonder where the time has gone. But a lot of good transition in the 20 years from when Judy and I came down from Wisconsin and to where we are today, both friends wise and the railroad. I'm so happy collectively that the C&Ts family, has evolved to a real solid business and cohesive group of people. So.
Absolutely.
well, we appreciate you, and I'll see you, like I said, on the sky Memorial Day weekend.
Oh yeah, 25th.
Yes, sir. It'll be fun.
Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it.
You know, Tim, we awarded you a pass last meeting, and we expect you to use it.
I have it, Ed. Yes.
Okay.
We will use it, and I do appreciate that.
Do we have anything for new business? Old business. Public input. John, you had a couple of questions. If you didn't ask them already, we'll go ahead.
Thanks. I think I've gotten as much answers as are available for that, and I appreciate it. Marvin, do you anticipate that the 463 will be serviceable by the time that the season is getting strong, like July, or what is the status there?
I'm not gonna say right now, John, because we're still in the process of deciding what exactly we're gonna do with it. But I'm gonna say that we're gonna work as hard as we can, trying to see if we can get it back into service as soon as possible.
Okay, but you do anticipate the 4K36s will be in service.
That's what we are anticipating right now.
Okay, thank you very much.
And that, in addition to that's the 315, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So there would be 5.
And 168, correct?
Yeah, 68,
6.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have anything? Do we need to go into executive session?
Kim, you're muted.
Before we leave the public input, if I could just ask a quick question.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys hear me. Patrick and I were texting. So with the fire danger, the drought issues, we go to a lot of water meetings, probably a water meeting a day in the San Luis Valley. And so there's a lot of conversations about the snowpack that Marvin raised and concerns there. How does that conversation, do you work with Forest Service to get ahead of some of that for coordination? I know you have your mitigation work that you're doing. Is that with US Forest Service or who is that with?
We have discussed this with the US Forest Service, both Carson and Rio Grande, so they're aware of what we're doing. And actually, I'm going to say that what we're doing is coming as of they led us on to go this way. You know, they were part of the discussion all along, and they still are. They're still involved with us on it.
So Erin, Colorado did a special appropriation last year out of the general fund to assist with wildland fire mitigation.
Okay.
And then Marvin and Ed met with Rio Grande and Carson National Forests and their technical experts, and they outlined some specific ways to address the wildland fire risk. And so the railroad's now taken on basically executing what was discussed, strengthening the firefighting resources, as well as then doing some line side mitigation of brush and things that are crowding the tracks.
So there's a fire commission that has been stood up in the San Luis Valley recently in the last year and a half that meets once a month. The whole point is for interoperable breakdown barriers, breakdown silos between emergency managers. So Rodney King, who's Conejos County emergency manager, I'm sure Marvin knows Rodney. This is the world that Patrick and I live in, is we break down silos between all these groups that we navigate. So just suggesting, if you're interested in more information about we could share fire commission information. These are the folks that are county, fed, state fire, state emergency management, all across the board. So maybe just Mark and Scott, if you guys are interested in the Colorado side, we can help you with that. Certainly also helps the district ranger, Andrea Jones, is married to Erin Jones, who manages the ranch on the other side between Chama and the top of the pass. We know them well. Andrea lives in the canyon, so she's still the district ranger there, which helps. But there's also a group called 232 that does big New Mexico, Colorado forestry planning that includes your landscape. And they're having a meeting at Ghost Ranch on February 28th. That is a big cross-sector kind of forest health planning conversation that's Chama Peak landowners. It's all your landscape, but I don't know if you guys have ever been looped into that. So it's really how much do you want to know about other meetings that we go to that overlap with your landscape at the same time as protecting Marvin's time and everyone else's time and getting the work done. Just let us know if you're interested in some of that information, or you may already be going and I'm just repeating myself. But that was just for awareness.
Thank you. Yeah, we really appreciate that.
Anything else? Okay, we're not going to have an executive session. So before we adjourn, I just want to say thanks to Erin and Patrick for being here and all your support, Erin, through the years. It's been fantastic and really appreciate it. So with that said, I'll call for adjournment.
So moved.
I'll
Second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Good
Take care.
day.